Good afternoon everybody, it's ERNIE'S in Manchester, England. I'm here to do a little video on a 1977 film called The Deep and a 2005 film called Into the Blue. Now The Deep stars Jackie Bissett, Nick Nolte, Robert Shaw and Eli Wallach, and it's basically about treasure hunters, about this young couple who go off the Bermuda Triangle searching for this buried treasure from this Spanish ship. And the local bad man, who's played by Louis Gossett Jr., him and his henchmen want to know where the ship is because apparently there's also drugs being sunk around that area, and they want to find out where it is so they can go and get it. Now the music is by John Barry and Giorgio Moroder along with Donna Summer. It was made in 1977, the same year as Star Wars and The Sorcerer by William Friedkin. Now this was a hit. It wasn't a massive hit, it was a hit. Everyone thought that they were expecting Jaws because it was written by the same director, the same writer as Jaws, Peter Benchley, but it's far from it. It's all about drugs, Spanish treasure, scuba diving and drugs basically. It's a really good film. The score's fantastic. Jacqueline Bissett's brilliant, so is Nick Nolte. It's got action, it's got intrigue. It's not a dead fast movie, it's a slow pace, but it's good, and it is really, and the colours and the quality of it is brilliant. There is a TV version knocking around somewhere on the internet, which is actually about 3 hours long, which explains how the ship was sank. There's like an hour long before they turn up at the island looking for the treasure. I would highly recommend The Deep to anybody. It's a really good film. Then we go on to the 2005 Into the Blue, which is Paul Walker and Jessica Alba, directed by John Stockwell, who played Arnie Cunningham's friend in Christine Dennis, and he was also in Top Gun with Tom Cruise. Now this, people say it's not a remake, people say it's a homage, it's a remake to The Deep, but it's a very similar story. There's no Giorgio Moroder music, there's no John Barry music, there's no Bermuda, this is in the Caribbean islands, and it's Paul Walker and his girlfriend Jessica Alba on the cover play divers who come across some sunken treasure from this sunken plane that's crashed into the bottom of the ocean, and also on the plane is tons and tons of drugs. Very similar story, and there's a bad man played by Josh Brolin who wants the drugs, and it's a similar story, and basically these two get involved in being forced to go and find or deliver these drugs to these bad guys. And without the music and without the original stars, this is, if you could say it's a remake. You could say yeah that's a remake of The Deep, but because it's not written by Peter Benchley, but they have basically took the idea of The Deep and made their own version, and this was really aimed at a teenage audience who like Fast and Furious and Paul Walker. But yeah, it was alright, I enjoyed it. It's nowhere near as good as The Deep. So if you're in the mood for a couple of underwater films, not excluding Jaws, The Deep's a really good one. It's more interesting than this, but this is fast paced, there's more action in this, but the only thing that puts this down is it's got a hip hop R&B dance track, and it doesn't sit well with the surroundings and the settings of the sea and the deep and the colours of the ocean and everything. It's just basically aimed at a young audience. So I would recommend The Deep over Into the Blue, but I wouldn't turn over The Blue. I'd watch it again, but it's not one I would go to on a regular basis. I would go with that one regular, and I'd also go with yours. So I hope you like this little video on my versions of The Deep versus Into the Blue. Both good films, one's better, one's not so good, but there we go, we enjoyed it. Take care everybody, bye.